thing. So as you're performing your time here in Chicago, this is coming up. You're starting May 2nd, running through the 7th, performing at Providence Performing Arts Center. What are you looking forward to performing in Providence?
Well, this is kind of a circle for me because I graduated from Providence College. So, everything that I began back at Providence College back in 1976 when I was graduating from there is now, this has come full circle. All of these things that I've accumulated as an actor during the years, I'm bringing back finally to the place where it all started. So it's, as I say, a nice completion of a circle for me.
And a gorgeous musical. What is it that you like when you go out on the stage and you get to play this role?
Well, it's the greatest leading man role, and he makes the greatest entrance that any actor has ever made on stage. I go up a stairway and I walk, and all of a sudden 10,000 watts of light hit me, and I've got a dozen women in lingerie grinding, saying, "We want Billy, we want Billy." You don't get a better entrance than that.
So is that part of the reason you keep coming back?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's go with that.
We'll go with that.
No, it's just a chance to sing some of the songs that they wrote, and being, as I said, one of the greatest musicals ever written, and being around, encircled by some of the best choreography you've ever seen on a Broadway stage. It's a gift every time I do it.
And really, do you think maybe that choreography that you've done with Chicago kind of helped you with Dancing on the Stars?
No, it's the other way around, actually. The other way around,
Dancing
yeah.
with the Stars helped you
Yeah,
with
no,
Chicago?
I was not a dancer by any means when we started Dancing with the Stars. I was the guy at the wedding reception with a glass of Chardonnay, and when the dancing and the music started, I would say, "Knock yourselves out, Shriners." No, that wasn't me. That was yeah, that was a different world back then. Yeah.
A little different.
Yep.
So, without, I guess, giving too much away, because you don't want to give away all your secret locations, but when you come to Providence and you visit, are there any places that you really like to go? Any restaurants that you want to make sure you visit? Or
Oh, well, I hang out a lot at Capitol Grill. I just have formed an allegiance and an alliance with the bartender there. Frank, and he's a great guy. So I always hang around with him, and then I go back and I see my buddies there at Providence College, one of whom is still head of the theater department there. So I see him a lot, and then I have a tendency to find myself wandering towards Newport as much as I possibly can. It's one of my favorite places in America. I think it's one of the most idyllic little communities I've ever been to, and it always has been. And I just feel really good when I'm down there.
I think everyone really feels like that. I mean, how could you not?
Well, it's not. Again, it goes back to the sense that I love elegance, and that's a time and a style of elegance, and I just like being there.
What do you like to do in Newport? Do you go visit the mansions? Do you go down to the beaches?
Well, I always like I love walking around the town. It's fun. I love sitting outdoors there. I love watching the sailboats as they come in, the dock, and I love going out to some of the yacht clubs out there as well. I've developed some friends that have boats down there, so I'll go out and I'll be a piece of rail meat for their sailboat race, and I just love the whole environment down there. And I'm a big fan of the Clark Cookhouse. I get out there and hang out.
That's such good food.
I Velcro myself to a chair and hopefully can stay on it for the full evening.
And it's always kind of fun too to people watch around there as well.
Oh, it is, yeah. And I like to be one of those people,
Exactly. So you have such an extensive body of work. I mean, you've been on TV, you've been in film, you've been on stage. But I'm kind of wondering, what's it like to be a cartoon character? You've voiced over so many characters, most notably your role in SpongeBob. But what is it like to be able to turn on the TV and see yourself as a cartoon character?
Well, it's actually kind of fun. And it's something that you do, you go into a studio and you record, and then you never see it for another year because it takes so long to produce animation and get it to the point where it's all, in a finished package. So, you do it and kind of forget about it. But then you see it on, and I love, I have a 10-year-old son, so I love seeing this body of work that I create for my son and his friends. And it's important to me to have that kind of style is something that I do in entertainment as well, because I think it's important to entertain them with good stuff as well.
Does he think, oh, it's so cool, my dad is on TV? Does he think, my dad's this cartoon character? Does he think it's cool, or is he kind of at the point
I think
where
he's kind of, I think he still thinks it's pretty cool.
He thinks it's cool?
Yeah, he does. He still thinks it's pretty cool, because he can say to his friends, or his friends will say to him, "I saw your dad today."
Oh, that's neat.
So it's kind of fun.
That's neat. Do you think eventually in a few years he's going to be like, oh, Dad, leave me alone.
Well, no, not at all. No, when I'm on tour, he comes in and he's my assistant stage manager on tour. When I'm doing Chicago here, he'll be working with the stage manager.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
That's neat. Has he seen PC yet? Have you taken him to your alma mater?
I think he has been up once to Providence College.
Okay.
Yeah, he was up there once, and but he's for some reason he has Texas in his head, and I don't know why. They're in Austin. He wants to go to UT, so that's
Well,
I don't know why. I think
Texas is
he liked
Texas
the,
is its own place.
He was passing by
Austin's
a
gold.
souvenir shop in an airport and saw it, and he liked it, and that's all he needed was to make his decision, and that's how he based it.
Does he like football?
Not particularly.
Okay.
No, he's a gamer.
Oh, all right.
No, he's a gamer. That's what he is, and he says, believes that there's a lot of future in that. So I said, all right. To every child his passion.
There you go. I lived in Texas for a while. I survived.
Yep.
I lived outside of Houston, so it was all right.
Yep.
You have a new movie that just came out, Swing Away. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, speaking of the Isle of Rhodes in Greece, that's where I shot it. It's a wonderful place.
Not a bad location.
It was. It's a story of a kind of redemption. Actually, it takes the story of an LPGA golf pro who has a meltdown on the 18th hole of a major tournament, and she does something that you're not supposed to do, as in carve your initials on the green, so she's suspended immediately, and to wait out the suspension and kind of get away from the press and everything that followed that, she goes back to her home in Rhodes and to see her grandparents, where she grew up, and in that time she develops kind of a sense of purpose, and she refines it again in the eyes of a little 10-year-old girl who happens to be there on the island, who has this desire to be the best golfer in the world, and she kind of sees herself in it. So she reestablishes that mentor quality that coached her into golf. And so in finding that kind of meaning, she goes back to her life. But in the meantime, I'm the villain of the piece, and I'm the American developer who comes in and takes their only golf course there on the Isle of Rhodes, which is, it's a C- anyway, but that doesn't matter. They're very proud of it, even though they don't play golf. But when they hear that a developer is coming in and he's going to turn it into a much unneeded water park resort.
A water park.
Yeah, I know. And so it becomes kind of a bone of contention, and she gets wrapped up in that because it's the golf course, and it means that 10-year-old girl's golf course is going to go away. And so now it becomes a competition, and I end up playing the 10-year-old girl for the golf course. So it has almost a Caddyshack kind of feel to it as well, but it's a wonderful, wonderful film. And I watch it, and it's funny, I've seen it 4 times now in screenings, and I'll tell you, my eyes well up every time I see it.
Yeah, it sounds just like a beautiful story, some comedy in there, drama. It sounds like a really neat story, and obviously beautiful location.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah, the Greek Isles should be on everybody's bucket list because it is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
And so that just came out in March. If you're interested in seeing that, I would encourage everyone to.
Swing Away is a very, very good film. Yeah, wonderful film.
And you've had so much, just going back to your body of work that you've done on stage, in movies, on TV, voiceover work. Talking a little bit about Hollywood in itself, Hollywood tends to get equated to liberal. What's your take on that?
Well, the odd thing was, it never was. Historically, it was always a kind of Republican. You go back to some of the old stars and stuff; they weren't liberal. They were very conservative.
Yeah.
But I think I have no reason for it. I can't tell you why. I just think that there is a very strong conservative voice in Hollywood as well. You just don't hear about them very often. Yeah. And I think it has a tendency as the conservatives tend to be more individuals, and liberals tend to form more into groups.
In a group,
and I think just by the nature of what a liberal is and what a conservative is. A conservative believes in individual responsibility, and the liberals tend to move more towards group mentality and government, trying to push things through, and both have a validity to them, but I just happen to lean more towards individual responsibility, and I like feeling that way, that I'm the beginning, the reason, and the end of my success.
All right. And I do want to talk to you as an avid animal lover.
Mm-hmm.
You have hosted the National Dog Show for several years.
16.
So that's a great body of work that you've done with that.
Yeah.
Do you have family pets?
We have a little Maltese. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me go back. We don't have the Maltese anymore. Sadly, we lost the Maltese. I have a Havanese now,
Havanese,
and
yeah,
I have a little
perfect.
a Cavalier King Charles. Yeah, so
Gorgeous.
Sadie and Lucy.
So, is it important to you when you're doing these dog shows to try to maintain bias, or do you have a favorite kind of?
Oh, I always have a favorite, and I don't. I love all dogs. They're just the nature of the dog. You just can't. When you look at Two Little Eyes, you can't. There's a commonality in every dog trait that is almost angelic. No matter what the breed is, or large or small. But I have a tendency to like some of the show dogs. I like the Irish setters. It always looks like the attractive redhead that just walked into the cocktail party. That hair flowing and
And it's always gorgeous. An Irish setter, gorgeous. I grew up with one. He was not the smartest dog.
No,
the dumbest dog we ever had.
not all broke out with brilliance, as they say.
No. So I just want to touch one more thing. Many people know you from your time on Seinfeld. Do you feel like, do you ever get sick of Jay Peterman, or are you grateful for your time with him? Do you ever get tired of him following you around all the time?
No, I still embrace that character, and it was one of the luckiest times in my life to be part of that. And I'd be a fool to not realize the value and the meaning and the great memories of all of that. It's just, I was lucky enough to be with the championship team in that championship season, and I'm grateful for it.
Well, you provided many laughs.
I hope so.
From Seinfeld and your extensive body of work.
I hope so.
Looking forward to seeing you at Providence Performing Arts Center. Chicago kicks off May 2nd through the 7th. You're going to be in town for that and heading over to a couple of fun restaurant spots. You think you'll have time to hit up Newport while you're in town?
Every morning. You'll probably find me down at lunchtime every day.
Yeah.
I promise you.
John O'Hurley, thank you so much for joining us
Great
on
to be with you.
Go Local Live. We really appreciate your time here. We're going to let you take off. You've been a busy man today. You've been all over the place.
In a good way.
In a good way. We appreciate your time.
Nice to spend time with you. Thank you.
Nice to spend time with you as
bet.
well. We're wrapping things up here on Go Local Live. Stick around for Business Monday. I'm Molly O'Brien. Thanks so much for joining us in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center.
My life to be part of that, and I'd be a fool to not realize the value and the meaning and the great memories of all of that. It's just, I was lucky enough to be with the championship team in that championship season, and I'm grateful for it.
Well, you provided many laughs.
I hope so.
From Seinfeld and your extensive body of work.
I hope so.
Looking forward to seeing you at Providence Performing Arts Center. Chicago kicks off May 2nd through the 7th. You're going to be in town for that and heading over to a couple of fun restaurant spots. You think you'll have time to hit up Newport while you're in town?
Every morning. You'll probably find me down at lunchtime every day.
Yeah.
I promise you.
John O'Hurley, thank you so much for joining us
Great
on
to be with you.
Go Local Live. We really appreciate your time.